If you work as a manufacturing facilities engineer, installing a new piece of equipment can be as complex as the machinery itself. From prep work to alignment and testing, it's your team's job to put it all together. That's why it's good to have Grainger on your side. With industrial-grade products and next-day delivery, Grainger helps ensure you have everything you need close at hand through every step of the installation. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm your host, Baxter Colburn. We've got a great episode today for you as we are in the winter months of Wisconsin. It is cold outside. It's not much to look forward to, at least at the time of this recording. The funny part is that this episode will come out when the weather's a little bit nicer. But if you read the title of the episode today, you might know why I'm thinking about summer, because my guest is my wonderful friend, Summer Rich, and I'm so excited that she's here today. She's the creator of Baskets by Summer, and she has become a really good friend of mine and just a person that I adore and admire, and I'm so glad that she's here on the show today. So welcome to the show today, Summer. How are you? That's good. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm so excited that you're here. You and I have known each other now for almost a year, I feel like, even though I feel like I've known you for a much longer time, which is always funny how certain relationships like that work, right? But we kind of followed each other and were fans of each other for a while, and then you were kind enough to be a guest on the other podcast that I host, The Real Chat with Mandy and Allie, and I got to hear more about your story, but I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about what Baskets by Summer is and how you kind of flex your creative juices a little bit in that side of things.
Absolutely. Well, I had fun on the other podcast, so I only am just as great. So,
yes.
Yeah, my business, it's Baskets by Summer. I create personalized gifts for individuals, and if people have weddings as well, I'll do wedding welcome gifts. I'll create those. Sometimes the bride and groom have out-of-town guests that they want to welcome to the area, and I can personalize that so it reflects the personalities of the bride and groom in those wedding welcome bags as well. And yeah, I just really enjoy creating the gifts with super thoughtful items, and it's super meaningful, and just a lot of intention and thought goes into each individual gift. So that's what makes me a little bit different than your average gift that you just buy off the store shelf.
Sure. And I think it's funny that you use the word intentional, because that's a part of your Instagram bio. It says intentional gifts, meaningful connections, right? I feel like that is so much about what it is that you get to do, and you get to share in people's big moments. You've shared in the passing of a loved one, right? Like the start and end of life, essentially, you get to be a part of for certain things, or just thinking of you. You were nice enough to deliver a basket from a friend of ours to my house for Christmas, right? Like
I did.
The thinking of yous and all of that, right? Like it goes all over the place. And I feel like you're in one of those rare industries where you do get to come alongside people in their life and really find ways to help, either further along something that's exciting or help with supporting in a tough time as well. How or why was the reason that you started doing something like this? Because I feel like this is not something you wake up one day and say, I'm going to start creating these custom baskets for people, because why not? It's Thursday and I'm looking for something to do.
That is true. So I didn't just wake up with the idea. My brother-in-law started getting the idea working in my head, and he had created fruit baskets. And he did those for years down in Milwaukee. And I thought, after I was talking to him for quite a bit, I thought, you know what, maybe I'll just try this. I was looking for something during COVID, and I am such a people person, and I love people. And I saw the disconnect starting to happen with individuals. We were just so secluded. We weren't seeing people like we used to. And what could I do that would be helpful? And so I started creating these fruit baskets for local realtors and for people who lost loved ones. And then it just kind of started turning into, let's personalize these a little bit more and figure out what are those individuals really about. let's put a little bit more thought into it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what has become Baskets by Summer now. Very individualized, personalized gifts. And then other small businesses, I think it just kind of boomed. Don't you think, in the last
Absolutely.
couple of years here, all these small businesses just trying to
Mm-hmm.
get out of that regular 9 to 5 job. And so I
Correct.
started kind of becoming involved in my business as well. I was helping small businesses, discovering new small businesses that I could use their product. If it's a great product and I love working with them, again, I can meet some more people. And so I started including those small businesses into my gift baskets as well, incorporating that in there. And it started becoming a lot more fun.
And that I think is, you mentioned that, right? You're bringing multiple businesses together, because it's not like, hey, if I want a golf basket, you're not buying 8 golf items from the same golf retailer, right? Or similar in the same vein. You're like, oh, I'm going to get something from here and from here and from here and from here and from here. So you are providing those opportunities for multiple businesses to share the same space together. Or you can say, hey, yeah, I've already got this and this from this business, and all of a sudden, oh, I didn't know that they did that, right? And you're making those meaningful connections, right, as we talk about. And I love the common theme in a lot of what I see on what you post on social media is that I've talked about this for the video and photo content that I do, right? It's a whole lot more than photo or video. And you have one that I see, it says it's more than just a gift, right? Like, you are creating something so special and so meaningful for these people that sometimes you don't even know what you're actually stepping into, right? I had Michaela Marie from Michaela Marie Sweets on my show a couple of weeks ago, and she talked about how she was making a birthday cake for a 1-year-old, and the mom messaged her afterwards and said that they weren't sure if her daughter was ever going to make it to her first birthday, and the fact that she got to make that cake for her was so important to the family. And she was like, I just thought I was making another cake. Like, I didn't know any different. Like, you don't know the impact you're going to have sometimes until you hear about it after the fact, right?
Absolutely. I remember one time I was at a door, and an individual, she had just gone through major surgery, like a double mastectomy. And I delivered a gift to her door, and she just about cried. Like, her little boys came up to she was a young mom. And she was so touched by the individuals that had given it to her. And I had a hard time composing myself when I got back into my vehicle. Things like that make such an impact, and so much, there's so much meaning.
Yeah. You talked about it a tiny bit before, in the sense of how a lot of small businesses, I would say even in the last 2 years, right, have really kind of stepped out from their 9 to 5s, or felt like this was the time to really jump into the creator economy, as it were, and really try their own thing. For the audience, I know this answer, but for the audience, is what you're doing your full-time job now, and or what were you doing that you left to do what you're doing now?
So it is my full-time job now. Actually, last year, I had picked up a job at our local chamber and was working there part-time, and then just life in general, family, I couldn't keep it all balanced. I wanted to continue this small business of mine. That was my drive. That was my desire, where my heart was. And so I ended up leaving my part-time job, and I just wanted to make more connections with people. I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do. And when I talk to people about their jobs, that's really hard to find, right? I know you've mentioned that you absolutely love your job, and you're an entrepreneur.
I do.
Though there is a lot of work behind that, right? Like, there's so much book work and thought, and just, it's hard. It's not all easy running the small businesses, but I knew this is what I wanted to do. I make a difference in people's lives.
Yeah.
So
I think that's such a beautiful thing, because I feel like some of the best ideas and best opportunities come when you either you least expect it, or out of happenstance, right? Like, or necessity, right? Like, I needed to make money for my family. I was going through a divorce, and I needed to make money, so I started doing these extra video shoots on the side because people asked if I would do them. No intention to be where I am now 4 years later. And it just turned into what it is now, which is funny, because at the time I was like, yeah, like I'll do some stuff here and there, but I'm like, I still really want that 9 to 5. I enjoy the consistency. I didn't know any better, until you get a taste of it, and you do more of it and more of it, and you're like, oh my goodness, like, this is exactly what I want to do, and what I feel like I was meant to do, right?
Right. Absolutely. Totally get it. Totally get it.
Yeah, I love the diversity in the sizes of what you create as far as the small little baskets to the much larger ones. Do you have a preference as far as what you create in terms of, I guess there's probably, obviously, I would assume smaller is easier to make, right? Bigger is much more intensive, but when an order comes through, what are the orders? And I know they all excite you, but like when you get an order that comes through and you're like, is there that generally specific one that you're like, yeah, like I really like these types of orders a tiny bit more than the other ones just because they strike a chord for you or they're just
I
fun
would
to make?
say I have actually two. Can I say two, Baxter? Am I allowed to give you
You
two?
can definitely give me two. Yeah, that's totally fine.
So the best I feel is when someone gives me almost like an unlimited budget
Hmm.
and I can make this gift so large, or it doesn't even have to be large, but just have a bigger budget where I have one recently that I am really excited about. And, a small business needs to make money. And I don't want to
Yep.
take away from another small business incorporating their items and just have to knock their price down to be able to have that gift, that specific item put into a gift. So, like, as an example, I think I can share this, but I had a woodworker make a very customized, what is it, a cribbage board.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm so excited to deliver it. But now I can not only include that, give him what he deserves
Hmm.
and his work and time and energy. But then this recipient is going to be so excited because that's speaking to them. And then his wife is also receiving part of this gift. So I'm incorporating two people in this one
That's
gift.
cool. And that's a
And
little more unique,
it
right?
is. And then I find out, I did a little research on both of these individuals, and then I'm going to make it like it's just all going to come together. And
Hmm.
those are just really fun because my creativity really is almost endless possibilities. And
Absolutely.
but then the other favorite is the wedding welcome bag, because
Hmm.
with the wedding welcome bags, now we're having wedding guests coming in from out of town.
Yep.
If they're not living in Wisconsin, now being exposed to, if I get to incorporate some Wisconsin businesses in these gifts,
Yeah.
now they're all of a sudden enjoying these little treats or these little items, something to take back to New York or Texas or wherever they're coming from. And it's a taste of Wisconsin. It's a little part that I can play in helping another small business out. So
I think those are beautiful examples, and I really I would agree with you, especially like the coming from out of town, right? Like we talked about this a little bit earlier, but like we have a mutual friend that visits from California consistently, right? And every time that she's here, we get to kind of share some of that with them, and it's that sense of pride a little bit too, right? Of the state. Or like when my family comes to visit from Florida, it's like, hey, like here's some things that make the Green Bay, Wisconsin area so great, right? And you get to kind of share that, or Milwaukee, or wherever the people might be for the wedding, right? Those welcome gifts, but that's such
right.
a fun touch from the bride and the groom that I hope more people start to do something like that because yeah, you do get Aunt Sally from Utah that's never been to Wisconsin before, and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is so cute. Or oh, Door County cherries, I've never had those. Oh my gosh, my world's been changed forever, right? Or cheese curds, what's a cheese curd, right? Like
Absolutely,
things that's
absolutely.
normal for us that we're like, what do you mean you've never had a cheese curd? Do you know what spotted cow is? They're like, no. Like it's so to be
Totally.
able to share that with people, right, is such a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. And they can always order online from these small businesses too, right? Or
Right.
find them on Instagram if they really do love their products. So,
Yeah.
a nice little circle.
Let's talk about the creative side of how you go about showing your story on Instagram, right? You are really good at just taking us along from the start to the finish on certain baskets. On most of your baskets, you have shown us happiness in the car. You've shown us tears in the car, right, as you're going and doing things, right? Like it seems to me that you're very just whatever it is, I'm going to show it and I don't care? Or what was the conscious decision that you made to use your whatever strategy that there may or may not be applied to how you show your story and your life on Instagram?
Well, I know in the beginning when I started, I was trying to figure out what I was really doing. What do I showcase? What do I show people? And I always grew up be proud to be different.
Hmm.
And I think that resonated with me, and I continue to hold on to that. And I need to stand out as different, and that's what makes me unique. It's okay to show your flaws. It's okay to be weird. If I try and preach that to my daughter and I can't even do it myself,
Yep.
then I'm being hypocritical,
Hmm.
So it's really hard, but you have to be okay with it. And hey, if you lose people because of what you show, if I show
Yeah.
myself, that's okay. I'm all right with that. And they didn't want to like get anything from me anyway, just
Hmm.
what I'm saying, like they didn't want to purchase a gift anyway, and they're not interested in that type of content. So I just really wanted to showcase who I am and be who I am. I'm not going to portray anything different online
Mm-hmm.
because that's not me. So I don't want to. Yeah.
Yeah, I respect that because I'd like to hope and think that's how I go about promoting myself and my business, and I'd like to think that who you see online is who you see in person, and um, I've always tried to be the same person through and through, no matter what, right? Because ultimately, as you mentioned, you'll decide if you want to do business with me based off if we make those snap judgments about social media, essentially, be like, oh yeah, like their feed looks pretty, or oh, she made me laugh. I'm sure I could work with her. It's like, oh, that's all it takes. And then
Right.
sometimes like, no, I need to meet you 4 times, ask you 1,000 questions, like a job interview for a, $200 basket or a $400 photo shoot. And you're like, why, what are we doing? Like, why is this for, why are we, it's like the US government here. Like, what are we doing here? Okay. And you're like,
Right.
maybe we're not the right fit. Maybe we're not like, like you figure that out and the right people always present themselves at the perfect time I've found. And that
Yeah.
I think is the best part about what we get to do. Right.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Yeah, because I I'm not really great when it comes to technology as far as making picture perfect Canva posts or doing
Hmm.
discovery. That all takes time, and
Yeah.
I give people credit who can do that.
Hmm.
But I do the best I can with what tools I have in front of me. So
Yeah. And that I think is so important. And I think that's what I always tell businesses or other people that will either say they don't need what I do or maybe not, now's not the best time. I'm like, as long as you're doing something, like that's all I really care about. I'm like, if you have somebody with a cell phone or you've got a niece with a camera, great. Like use those people to continue to tell your story. And then when you're ready to take a bigger step forward, obviously let me know and I'm happy to be there to help you. Right. But that's half the battle is we forget that like we have something really powerful in our pockets and half the time we don't ever use it or forget to use it. And just a little bit of experience and work can go a long way into making some really good stuff that people will love. And sometimes it's the less produced content that people are like, oh my gosh, this is so great. It feels so real and so raw. I'm like, okay, great. I'm glad you like
right,
that. You
absolutely.
you mentioned something before that I wanted to go back to. You talked about your daughter and kind of living out how you live life and hoping that she does the same. I have 3 kids at home. I have my older two that are very focused on the interest and fascination of what dad does, right? Like I get to play with cameras, I get to fly drones, I get to go to vacation rental houses and jump in pools and do fun things that any kid would be like, "What in the world are you doing? Like how do I get that job, right?" Um, and I think and I hope that they see how happy it makes me, right?
Mm.
Um, how do you go about either sharing what you do with your family and your spouse and any of that? And generally, what's the vibe or the feeling back to what it is that you get to do and love on a daily basis?
I think I think they're really proud of me when they see how much joy it brings me.
Hmm.
And yeah, when I come home and I tell my daughter what I did today, who I met, she's always interested. She kind of did a project for school about small businesses and came home with some statistics about I think it's like 76% of small businesses can make it the first year, 50% fail within the first 5 years. And then after that, for 10 years, it's like down to 33%.
Mm-hmm.
And when she sees me trying so hard, she's like, Mom, I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of you. And I don't come home like dragging work situations, drama home.
Yep.
I don't have to worry about that. And I just am happy. I'm happy every day. And like today, I told her, she's like, What are you doing today? And I said, Well, I'm going to be doing interview on a podcast today with Baxter. And she's like, really? That's cool. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't bring any added stress from anywhere. I honestly don't think, besides paperwork. That's the only thing that brings me a little bit of distress with running a small business.
Yes, absolutely true.
But otherwise, yeah, it's just been great.
I love that. I think that is that I think should be an affirmation to you that you're doing the right thing, right? You made the right choice to do this full time. You're in an industry that brings you joy and excitement to wake up every day and say, okay, what do I get to create today? What do I get to do for someone else today? And how can I make a difference, right? I think that is a unique piece about it. And family is tough, right? Because if you don't enjoy that, that seeps into it, right? I've been in jobs before I've come home and dad had a rough day, and so dad's in a mood, and therefore dad's trying to, lay on the floor and play with the kids, but dad's a little testy because, Susie at work was, didn't like what something that dad did at work today, and dad, whatever. Like it just
Right.
and obviously, yes, you still have clients that maybe you don't always see eye to eye with, or things like that still happen, but it's a lot more of that like one time done, have a nice life, let's move on, right? Type of thing, right? Like,
Exactly.
it makes such a difference, and I feel so much happier
Mhm.
over the last 5 months of being in business full time after making that jump from leaving my full time job, and I can see that in you, on your face, in your voice, and I think that seems to have made a positive difference in your life.
And it does. It truly does. I was just talking to my sister about that, and she's like, "That is your true joy." When I was debating whether or not to quit my
Hmm.
other job, she was like, "Your face lights up every time you do this work," and without getting emotional, it's so true. That was my pride and joy, and I thought,
Hmm.
can I sustain it? I really want to. So that is my drive to
Yeah,
help other people.
I love that. And you're allowed to be emotional. You and I have cried together at least once on another podcast, so
Oh,
we're
Baxter,
allowed to tie it. What is it about you and I in interviews? One of us ends up crying at some point,
crying.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I'm a sap. I still can't believe I've cried more than once on a podcast before, but here we are. This is part of life.
It's real life. It's real life. And
It
that's what,
is.
yeah, that's what draws people, right? It's just
Correct.
because we all have crazy lives, and it's being able to connect on different levels that, hey, it's real. This is how we get
Hmm.
through it, and really build each other up and support one another is super helpful.
Let's talk a little bit about 2025. By the time this episode comes out, we'll be a few months into 2025, but I want to know what are some of the big either projects or big goals that you're running towards this year to build upon the success that you had last year?
Yeah, goals I have is, you know, going through business every day. I think because of those statistics, the odds are against the small guy.
Yep.
So if I can keep on waking up every day, enjoying what I love, do I have to grow more followers to do that? I don't feel like it. Like I feel right now, is that my goal to get more followers? No. Would it be nice? Sure, but I want every day um, to be enjoyable. I don't want to pound out mass produced gifts. That's not me. I
Hmm.
love the individuality of these gifts that I do. I love working with wedding planners, event
Mm.
planners, having more fun connecting with those in that industry.
Yep.
And I apologize for that phone.
Do you have a home line still?
I am so old school. I don't want to get rid of it, Baxter. Should I?
That's fine. You can say if you want to stop it fast, you can. Doesn't bother me,
Okay.
but that's amazing that you still have a landline. There's nothing wrong with having a landline, but that
Oh, that's
sounds
fair. So because I'm still old school in my head, I feel like, what if the battery goes down on your phone?
right.
And
Got to get a hold of you somehow.
somebody has to have a phone to get through. So
My
back when I
grandparents had a landline forever and ever and ever until they recently moved, but I was always would call that, right? And you could always tell. I love it. I love that.
all
No
right.
shame.
So yes,
Yeah,
we're
but so
we're getting
finishing
getting
your
back to
goals and what you're going towards.
getting more contracts out there, working with a few more event planners, working more weddings, getting my name out there and more connections. That's always been my ideal thing, is connecting with those individuals, not only those that want to work with me. I don't want to just have a conversation over the phone or in emails. I love meeting people in person.
Me too.
It just makes, I can't even describe it, Baxter. It's just such a good feeling. And seeing them in person, having a smile on their face, and I want them to know me, who I am, who they're working with. And it means a lot because there's a real person behind every business. And so 2025 is going to be a good year. Hit the ground running, and now I'm starting it off with a great podcast. So
you're very kind.
But
I appreciate that. Last question I'll ask you, as I ask all of my guests, is when you are not doing what you do for work or creating, how do you take care of yourself?
So there's such a tough balance there, because I do talk about that a lot. A lot of my gifts are self-care, a lot of comfort gifts, and I probably could do a lot better at this aspect in my business because I don't have a website. I don't have any other way to put my business out there but Instagram. So I'm on Instagram quite a bit, meeting people, taking orders. And so when I do take the moments for myself, I like to get away, need to schedule a vacation, that's like a full reset for me. But outdoor activities, going for walks, getting outside. I love the snow. I don't love the snow. I take advantage of the snow activities if I can. So thankful for snow, and I love skiing. But yeah, just I don't know. It is really hard though to take. I shouldn't even talk about it because I need to do better.
That's why I asked the question, because everybody has a different answer, and truthfully, you'll get those people that are like, I'm so regimented, this is what I do, and you get the others that like do exactly what you did. They sit back on their couch or in their chair for a second and they exhale because they're like, crap, like you caught me. And I'm like, I'm not trying, this isn't a gotcha, but like it's a reminder to me, it's a reminder to you, it's a reminder to the audience that we have to take care of ourselves, right? Like, especially when you are the only person doing everything, right? And I've had this discussion with you and others before, right? If I wake up and I don't do something in my business today, no one else is doing something, right? No one is answering those emails. No one else is going to those video shoots. No one else is recording the podcast or whatever it might be. It's me, right? Like, and yes, I have editors that work for me that I empower and give things to, but if I'm not the one giving it to them, they're not going to do their job, right? So it is very much that reminder of like getting good sleep goes a long way, eating well goes a long way, little things that we can kind of control throughout our day. I would love to work out 5 times a week. I would love to read for an hour every day. That's not realistic with 3 kids and a business that's demanding. And so I try to be intentional about those moments when I do and celebrate the small wins, right? But you'd be surprised how good sleep and good hydration go a long way. That can really kind of cover a lot of your bases, which is silly to say, but it really does help in a lot of ways.
And I 100% agree now that you say that. Just the physical activity, when I've been super frustrated, that is my outlet. I do allow myself time to exercise. I need to go to the gym to just get it off out of my head. And I feel like that's the only way you can do it for me. I love music, and like for content creation, I'm like, it's all about being creative with that. Like I would love to give someone else my reels and do it, but I can't because I feel like that's my baby, and connecting the music with the item I'm doing. That's really important. So
it is.
I will do more, Baxter. I will do better.
I will too. I'm going to keep doing the best I can on my end. So like I said, it's a reminder for me and for you and the audience, right? That's why I ask, because every time I'm just like, oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, right? Like you figure it out as you go along and you do the best you can every single day, right?
Exactly.
I love it. Summer, what is the best way for people to learn more about what you do? And if they want to get a hold of you, how can they do so?
Absolutely. So I'm just on Instagram, so they can contact me on Baskets by Summer on Instagram. I'm under Basket Girly. And
Perfect.
just my email is on there, contact number, and word of mouth. That's really
Mm-hmm.
how I've been doing business. So let your work speak for itself.
I love it. I love it. Summer, thank you so much for taking the time today. I am so grateful for you. I love you, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon, I hope.
Thank you, Baxter. Sounds good. Thanks for
Thank
having
you
me.
very much. Absolutely. A big thank you to you, the listener, as well, for joining us today. As a reminder, Iconic Creators comes out every Monday. You can find it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can find me at Baxter Colburn and at Colburn Creative Co. on Instagram. And I look forward to connecting with you. And thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you on another episode of Iconic Creators next week.